Hello, everyone, and welcome to our presentation of Module 7030 SSL International Leadership. We are Group 6, and today we will be undertaking a critical exploration of leadership by examining the style of two very different but highly influential figures. To set the stage, let's briefly discuss what leadership is. It is more than just a position, it's the power to influence, motivate, and guide others, playing a crucial role in both institutional performance and broader social changes. Effective leadership often possesses a mix of initiate traits and learn skills. Leadership, as we know, is one of the key driven of institutional success and social transformation. As Nordhaus 2021 points out, leadership involves the power to motivate, mentor, and morally influence others. Successful leaders often combine personal traits with learned skills to adapt to changing environments. The purpose of our presentation is to critically elaborate on the leadership model that support the style of our two chosen leaders. By comparing a political figure like President Murmur with a corporate titan like Bob Iger, we can gain fascinating insights into how leadership operates in vastly different spheres. Murmur embodies a moral and transformational style rooted in empathy and inclusion, while Iger represents a corporate vision characterized by innovation and strategic foresight. Our analysis will be framed through several leadership theories, including trade theory, transformational, situational, and disruptive leadership. We will use these lenses to see how each leader fits or doesn't fit these models, leading to a final evaluation and recommendation. Let's begin with Draupadi Murmu. In 2022, she made history by becoming the 15th President of India and, most significantly, first person from the tribal community to be elected to this highest office since India's independence in 1947. Her journey is a testament to her resilience. Born into a tribal community in Odisha, she faces socio-economic challenges early in her life. She started as a school teacher before entering politics with the Bharatiya Janata Party, where she held various state-level ministerial positions. Her leadership was further honed during the tenure as the government of Jharkhand from 2015 to 2021, where she focused on tribal welfare and education. Personally, she has shown immense moral strength overcoming the tragic loss of her husband and two sons while remaining dedicated to her public duties. Although the role of the Indian president is largely ceremonial, her presidency holds profound symbolic weight, representing national unity and gathering her a unique moral authority. Murmur leadership style is best understood as transformational. She empower communities, especially women and tribal groups, throughout her active engagement and personal story. This aligns perfectly with transformational leadership theory. She demonstrates key aspects like moral uh, dis- decisiveness and emotional intelligence, inspiring followers toward social betterment. A corporate example from her governorship was her decision to return controversial bills on tribal land rights for recognition, prioritizing constitutional and tribal welfare over political pressure. Her personal resilience in the face of tragedy further underscores her emotional strength and commitment. Moreover, her consistent emphasis on gender equality, education, and sustainable development in her speeches connects her style to servant leadership, focusing on well-being of the people rather than personal or political gain. Critics argue that Draupadi Murmu, president, has been largely ceremonial with the limited policy influence due to constitutional restrictions that vast executive power in prime ministers and cabinet. Some analysts believe her soft-spoken and conscience-driven style through Admiral reduces her assertiveness and visibility compared to global leader in similar role. That is BBC 2022. Overall, Murmu's leadership has been symbolic, ethical, and inclusive, inspirational from managerial communities, but her impact remains moral rather than policy driven, reflective both her constitutional limits and reserved political approach. Uh, if we talk about analytical framework, Draupadi Murmu leadership can be examined through transformational and disruptive leadership theory, which helps explain her rise as tribal woman to India's presidency and her impact on inclusion and representation. If we talk about the transformational leadership that burns 1978 and 1985, transformational leadership inspired following by appealing to shared values and moral purpose throughout idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and individualized consideration. Overall, Murmu's transformational leadership element awareness of equality, inclusion, and representation driven moral and social change rather than replying authority or coercion. Disruptive leadership approach. Disruptive leadership approach traditional norms promotes innovation and open space for new perspectives. Draupadi Murmu presidency disrupted India's traditional power hierarchy, long domination by upper caste and urban ethics. By becoming the first tribal woman president, her rise represent grassroots empowerment and introduce a leadership model rooted in ethics, empathy, and social justice, redefining legitimacy from privilege to moral authority. However, her disruptive potential remains symbolic as constitutional and institutional constraint limited her capacity to enact structural reform despite his Murmu's leadership continues to challenge societal assumptions and broader representation in India politics. Now, I like to uh, ask my friend Sandeep to carry on.
Yeah, thank you. So, here coming with the connection between the transformational and disruptive leadership, here we have both leadership style, which emphasize on change and innovation, and the moral purpose, where transformation leader inspire the follower through shared vision and values, while their disruptive leader challenge and reshape the existing system. And here, application to Draupadi Murmu, we can say that it demonstrates the transformational leadership by inspiring inclusion and social mobility, and disruptive leadership by symbolically challenging India's socio-political hierarchies. And integrated leadership, we can say that there together have been used the styles show how the Murmur combine emotional inspiration with the systematic disruption, providing that leaders from marginalized background can both inspire and drive meaningful change. Here, understanding the Draupadi Murmu leadership, we can say that it's marked by empathy, resilience, and symbolic disruption can be interpreted here with the transformational and disruptive leadership theories, which together show how she inspired change while challenging India's political hierarchy. However, both have limits in analyzing a leader in a largely ceremonial constitutional rule. Transformation leadership here, Mumu embodies idealized influence and inspirational motivation, serving as a role model through her journey from a tribal village to a presidency. Her rise symbolizes a modal shift towards the inclusion and demonstrating that leadership can emerge from marginalized communities. Her constraint can be said that yet the transformational theory may overestimate her real power as India's present function within strict constitutional boundaries, where policy authority lies with the government. It also idolizes the leader, often ignoring institutional constraints. Thus, while Murmur leadership inspires moral transformation, her capacity and practical policy change remains limited. Coming to disruptive leadership challenges and the norms promotes the inclusion and innovation. Draupadi Murmu presidency represents a symbolic disruption of India's caste, class, gender hierarchy, redefining it to the leadership through ethics and humility and empathy rather than the privilege. However, as a constitutional figurehead, her ability to disrupt institutional structure or policy is limited. While disruptive leadership explains her symbolic and moral impact, it is less applicable to a role constrained by constitutional boundaries and lacking the flexibility found in business or innovation context. Where both transformational and disruptive leadership highlights Draupadi Murmu's ability to inspire moral change and challenge traditional hierarchy through her inclusive and value-based leadership. These theories emphasize her role as a symbolic and ethical leader, promoting representation and social transformation despite limited executive powers. Often, romanticizing the leader's autonomy, while transformational leadership implies follower influence and disruptive leadership suits innovative context together. They portray a Murmu as a moral transformer and a social disruptor, redefining it in the way of leadership beyond political authorities. Here, the second personality we have is the Bob Iger, served as a Disney CEO from 2005 to 2020 and returned in 2022 to address market and leadership challenges. Through strategic acquisition of Pixar, Marvel, Lucasfilm, and 21st Century Fox, he transformed Disney into a global entertainment powerhouse. With a background at ABC Television, Iger built a leadership philosophy centered on creativity, optimism, and calculated risk taking. A leadership philosophy centered on a creativity, optimism, and calculated risk taking. His tenure delivered record profits and expanded a global reach and launched a Disney Plus in 2019. While critics argue he relied too heavily on the acquisition at the expense of original content, the Guardian 2022 Iger's long term vision and adaptability cement his legacy as one of the most influential corporate leaders of the 21st century.
These are
Next
the
will
leadership
be,
style.
yeah.
These are the leadership style and approaches which Bob Iger followed, and we can see that there is a best example of transformational situation and disruptive aspect. As a transformation leader, he inspired employees with a clear, creative, and technological vision, promoting trust, collaboration, and innovation. His situational flexibility allowed him to balance creativity and control, empowering teams like Pixar and Marvel while maintaining strategic oversight. And as a disruptive leader, Eager embraced digital streaming early through Disney Plus, reshaping the entertainment industry. Critics argue his acquisition heavily strategy limited creative freedom. His vision, adaptability, and innovation ensure Disney long-term success and global influence. Next slide. These are the theoretical framework for analyzing eager leadership. As Bob Iger leadership can be explained through situational and disruptive leadership theory most powerfully. And according to situational leadership, effective leaders adapt their style to follow readiness and context. Seen in Iger, flexibility during acquisition and his decision to preserve Pixar creative autonomy. And through disruptive leadership, Iger transformed Disney by launching Disney Plus, shifting the company from traditional media to digital streaming. Together, these models show how this situational awareness enable him to apply disruptive innovation strategically, balancing flexibility and visionary risk taking to drive Disney success. These are the critical discussion on the situational leadership and descriptive leadership. So as we can see that in descriptive leadership approach, Iger reflect his ability to drive change through critics, argue its overemphasis innovation at the expense of stability and morale. Despite this, he balanced disruption with continuity, preserving Disney artistic identity while embracing transformation and integrating leadership style. Agar's success lay in balancing flexibility and creativity, combining vision with precise timing and situational awareness. His integrated approach enabled Disney to sustain growth even amid technological and market disruption. These are the conclusion and recommendation. As we can see that there is a comparative overview of leadership style. The leadership of Draupadi Murmu and Bob Iger show that effective leadership varies with context, personalities, and values, and how Murmur ethical is linked with transformational leadership. Murmur shows empathy, resilience, and moral authority, inspiring social inclusion and empowering underrepresented communities. And how eager strategies is linked with transformational leadership. Eager demonstrate innovation, flexibility, and vision, driving corporate growth and creative transformation at Disney. And the key difference in leadership foundation was that Murmur leadership is rooted in values and social inclusion, while Eager focuses on creativity, change, and global competitiveness. The next is how Draupadi Murmu can be more beneficial to the community. As first, it can it is Draupadi Murmu can increase strategic advocacy. Like Murmu can strengthen her influence by promoting education, women empowerment, and indigenous inclusion. The second is collaborative leadership network. Building alliance with NGOs, academia, and policy groups can help translate her moral leadership into tangible impact and can influence so many communities so that she can grow more and more. The third is youth engagement. By mentoring young tribal and female leaders, she can sustain inclusive representation and build a lasting legacy. Next is what Iger should do. So he can decentralize decision making, encourage innovation, and localize leadership with Disney. The second is sustainability and ethics. Bobber Iger can concentrate on ethical leadership by like environmental and social responsibility into Disney global strategy. The third is success and culture. Bobber Iger can develop strong leadership pipelines to preserve cooperative culture beyond individual leaders. In summary, both Draupadi Murmu and Bob Iger show that effective leadership is multi-dimensional, combining vision, integrity, flexibility, and purpose. Leader who balance empathy, creativity, and ethics remain relevant in addressing 21st century challenges. And finally, here is a list of references and sources we consulted for this presentation. Thank you for your time. Thank you.